listening to the First Issue Club. We are your weekly comic book podcast. We're just like Sue Storm. We love a good read. It's Thursday. You're going to be hearing this probably Friday.
After that comes Saturday.
And then a whole other week is going to start, and we're going to do it all again. Old Faithful, First Issue Club, the comic book podcast.
Well, there needs to be an asterisk there because next week is Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. What are we going to hear Thanksgiving week?
Thanksgiving week, you will be treated to Andy and I interviewing Ed Brubaker.
Yay.
The whole episode is us going, Ed, you remember when
You're amazing.
Captain America?
You're amazing. You're amazing.
That was really cool. You remember when you were Iron Fist? That was really cool.
Yeah, so that'll be an hour-long episode of us talking to him about his new book coming out with Sean Phillips, AI, Marvel,
Hollywood.
We didn't think we were going to get him for that long, and he just kept talking, and so we just kept recording, and it was fantastic, and we can't wait for you guys to hear it. So next week for Thanksgiving, while you're eating pumpkin pie and turkey, you can also listen to us talking to Ed Brubaker.
Because we're thankful for you, listener.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a nice sentiment.
Yeah.
But this week, like any other week, had its own events and buzzworthy topics to talk about.
Yep.
A lot of video and media content coming our way from the comic companies that own the comic companies that own the comic companies.
Tasty trailers.
Yeah.
I think it was every CEO was just waiting for the writers and actors strikes to be kind of figured out and fleshed out, and they're just release the trailers now, give content, make as much content as you possibly can.
Well, because they're not legally allowed to promote any of those things.
Right. That's why San Diego Comic-Con was so lackluster with their media news.
Yep. I mean, I think the big one was Madam Web, right? Did any of us actually think that movie was going to come out?
I forgot, honestly.
I honestly forgot about it too, I liked the trailer.
Yes.
The discourse online was, same as it always was.
Yeah.
People being fucking assholes.
A resounding,
And then other people being excited for it, and almost nobody in between. It's not. I don't think it's what I expected. I didn't necessarily know about the cast of it. Dakota Johnson isn't an old lady. I was expecting. I was expecting Madam Web to be an old lady.
Yeah.
I saw some people who were pissed about that, and I was like, if that makes you mad,
why are you even liking comic book movies?
Give me a break.
Not age appropriate.
But yeah, they did a quick flash of a handful of different Spider-Men, Spider-Women,
Spider Personae,
and I think it looks like a really fun movie.
Based on the trailer, my hope for this film is that it's a sci-fi bent thriller, like a 12 Monkeys or something. But
yep.
I don't know. I can't think of anything to equate it to, but it looks like Dakota is going to have to save these future Spider-Women from some kind of time-traveling bad Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, so it's you're right with it's going to have the audience kind of jump off the cliff with the movie because it deals with the time web or the in the spider totem and all that. So it's going to take a lot of just trust us here with the movie, and it's going to be it's not your straightforward bit by a spider. Now I can throw Macho Man Randy Savage out of a ring,
right?
Kind of thing.
Yeah, we're going to find a lot of characters who are mid their journey, and I'm assuming a character like Karn is going to be coming after everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, that character, I guess, is the person who taught Spider-Man about the spider totem.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's Karn. I'm not the web head of the group, so I don't know if that is who that character is. But
who taught Spider-Man about the spider totem? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
He in the picture I saw, he has a bunch of gray hair and a beard that's gray as well. So I don't know.
How about that?
Yeah. I don't know. Does that ring any bells for you? Is that really kind of pinging your Spider-Man sense of...
Not really.
Oh, Graybeard.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely something from Spider-Verse, I would think. In any case, I'm excited about it. I think looking at what that can do for Sony's universe of movies, I think this is a great way to like start introducing more characters and doing more things if they want to expand that out a little bit. I do think that a movie like this that maybe could have come before, something like Venom or Morbius, might have set those movies up a little better for success, because everyone's like, where's Spider-Man? And how are these related to the thing that I know and like? And at least in that scenario, you could have said, oh, well, we're in a different universe now, and then eventually we're going to bring all the universes together, and Spider-Man will get all of his classic villains all at once, which could have been a fun way to do like a Sinister Six sort of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I also like, I think the rights weren't worked out the right way initially for Sony to do all that stuff with all the spider people beforehand.
Well, I don't think they even had the foresight to do that.
Yeah.
They're just like, what's the big name we can do? Venom. It's not going to be Madam Web.
Yeah.
They're like Venom. Who's next? Madam Web? No, Morbius. Mobius.
Yeah, the fact that Madam Web was even on the list, period. But I think they were just like, everyone else is doing the multiversal stuff. Let's do some of it ourselves too. It's a little tiring, I think, how much multiversal travel we're doing already in all the movies.
I think that season's over.
My brother asked me if I think this is going to tie into Spider-Verse. And I 100%, right? Like, they've already had live action like Prowler in you know, and they had Spot show up in the Venom live action universe. So like, this is just going to be another tie-in to the Sony Spider universe.
Right.
Yeah. Which is like fine.
Sure.
But treat it like, you know, a ghost pepper seasoning sauce. Like a little bit will do you. Like you don't need to pour half the canister in there. Just little hints of it here and there will really make it a tasty treat.
It would be cool if you got Miles in the Sony movies, and then
for sure,
they let him do his own thing over there for a while, and then crossed him over eventually.
I don't think Marvel will let that happen.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, Marvel doesn't. Sony doesn't have the rights to Miles.
On Walt Disney's grave, they will let that happen. Like, there's no fucking way that Miles makes his premiere in a Sony movie than MCU, a live action anyway.
Yeah, there's no way.
We've got a handful of movies that have been postponed.
Namely, all of them.
All of them, right? I think,
except Deadpool.
Yes.
This news started coming out after Captain Marvel had a weak opening box office, which was disappointing for me. I really liked the movie.
It's getting good reviews and good critical reviews. So
I think a couple things happened. I think people, a lot of people are sourcing just like superhero burnout.
Yes.
2, people are saying that the MCU is a little too convoluted and complicated now.
Yes.
None of the stars were able to do press for the movie.
Yes. It was advertised extremely poorly.
It wasn't advertised
I'll
well.
be interested to see how that movie performs Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like, Thanksgiving's a time when people usually go to the movies a lot anyway, because you're out of school, off work, you don't have much to do, you know, after you eat turkey, so you're like, well, let's go see a movie as a family. I think Marvel's may see a significant bump from that.
It would be nice to see if they put out some more trailers for it now. Like, audiences love the Marvels.
Yeah.
And then have Mike D going, I love the Marvels.
Yeah, the Mike D blurb's like, I thought it was good. Mike D, first issue club.
I'm kind of wondering if movies, period, aren't gonna bring in what they used to for a little bit. I'll say I loved the movie. I hated my movie going experience. Like going to theaters just gets worse and worse and worse for me as I get older.
Well, I think Barbenheimer does not support your theory.
Right.
Because that would broke every record across the board.
Yeah.
But that was something new.
Yeah.
You know, like with what Mike said was like we're just kind of tired of the oh, okay, it's like the yearly Marvel movie. Let's go see it. Oh, this looks fine. I guess we'll go see it. There hasn't been like a bombastic hit you over the head with like a fanatic thing of like a Marvel movie. And I think Deadpool's supposed to be that. I think Deadpool honestly is going to be the linchpin that just kind of cleans everything up.
Honestly, the time is right for Andy's Tremors reboot.
Yes. I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet, to be honest.
I could write the shit out of a new Tremors movie.
There's a lot more kissing and a lot more ass blasters.
Kevin Bacon kisses every worm.
No, the worms just kiss each other.
And then Kevin Bacon.
Worm on worm action.
Oh, this is what we've been waiting for.
This ain't your daddy's Dune.
Oh, God.
Dune Tremors crossover? Mixed with a little bit of Beetlejuice. I never understood why Beetlejuice had Dune sandworms in it.
It was the dimension that he's in.
He lives in a dimension wherein there are...
Yeah, you have like reality.
Black and white striped Dune sandworms.
I think that was like what their version, like Limbo or something.
Yeah.
Like it's like the dead zone of when you pass.
All right.
So it's something cool.
Yeah.
I actually watched. This is so strange. I watched something on YouTube today. It was like called the Dune worm paradox theory, and it's just like they're describing like how these worms could never be this big. It's like, well, no fucking shit. It's science fiction, dummies. And it's like, someone took the time to make this 30-minute video saying that these worms could never exist. And it's just like, go touch some grass. Like, give me a break.
The size of the worms never bothered me because whales exist. What bothered me is that canonically, the worms eat their own young.
Yes.
That is their only food source is baby sandworms.
Yeah.
And the ones who live get big.
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, they also theorize that there's like sand krill.
Yeah, the
on the
sand
planet.
krill are the baby worms.
Yes. But there's cajillions of them. They're like plankton, so.
But are these worms just constantly spewing out their own young and then eating them? That's not...
Hamsters do it all the time. And that's why we have bigger hamsters and smaller hamsters.
It's the circle of life.
You're lucky that humans don't do it.
Or do we?
You. Movies that are not happening anymore. One, I know that Bad Bunny El Muerte movie is just like straight up not happening now.
Not happening.
So that movie's donezo.
It's either not happening or he's left the project.
Yeah,
one of those things.
He left the project, so it is not happening.
So it's dead
or
in the
vice
water.
versa.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Then we had. I know there's a Captain America movie, right?
That is
New World
apparently
Order.
Going through extensive reshoots, if you believe the rumor mill.
Okay, yeah.
Black and Silver is not happening, right? That was canceled long ago.
Yeah, that was a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie, which is wild to me that neither of those characters have showed up in live action that I'm aware of.
When I heard that was on the table, I thought that was such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a heist movie.
Yeah, exactly. 2 female-led comic book heist movie. Like, sign me up. Put them in those skin-tight suits.
If Ocean's 8 can do it.
Dude, for real.
Like, fuck.
Yeah. What else isn't happening, Mike?
I don't have a phone on hand.
Oh.
I use my phone to record our stuff, so
yeah,
I don't have those pulled up. But there were 3 Disney Marvel movies coming out next year that are all no longer coming out.
But they just got pushed, right?
They got pushed into 2024 or 2025.
Like Blade.
Blade's having some problems.
Blade's having some issues.
And I think I started this and I lost track of the thread here that the weak Marvel's box office kind of instilled in them that like, yeah, we are pushing a little too much content out there all the time and people aren't like excited for new stuff anymore because there's always a streaming show, there's always a movie right around the corner, and you feel like if you missed a couple of them, then you're completely lost. Which I don't know how true that is. I think at the end of the day, they're all just like goofball action movies, and if you've been following the stuff, it's just like a little bonus that you understand, like, oh, they're related through this, and those people have this dynamic, and
that's how they're supposed to be.
My wife had a lot of fun watching the Marvels, and she hasn't watched any of the shows.
Yeah.
She saw the first Captain Marvel movie. That's about it.
I had this set up for the Patreon that we're not going to do. It was What the Spec segment that we do. And one of them was, do you know what comic book Mephisto first showed up in?
It's an Avengers issue, right?
No.
Oh, it's not?
It's a Silver Surfer issue.
No shit.
Like Silver Surfer 8 or something. And the reason that book is popping off is allegedly they're filming a Mephisto Halloween special the same time that they're filming the Agatha TV show.
Oh, okay.
So, Sacha Baron Cohen's supposed to be Mephisto. I don't know how true that is, but
that's perfect casting.
So I think either next year or whatever, sometime around Halloween, we could see a Mephisto Halloween special, which sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's funny that it happened too late for the joke to really land.
Yeah.
Because that was the big joke in WandaVision. Is like everything was going to be Mephisto. Oh, it's Mephisto. It's got to be Mephisto. And that show came out, what, 3 years?
100 years ago.
It feels like
pandemic.
it was, forever ago.
So that's interesting to me.
All right.
That's fun.
I did love Werewolf by Night, and the recolored one was gorgeous.
I honestly didn't think the coloring it would add much, but it did.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did it in black and white.
Yes.
And then when I heard the color thing, I was kind of like, oh, it's got like, as a, purist of what the intention was, I was kind of like, leave it black and white, but seeing it in color was really cool.
Yeah.
They did a great job coloring it.
I'm glad the options are there.
Yeah.
You can watch both.
Yeah, it was fun.
I get a kick out of doing that stuff. Like when they did that release for Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, they did black and white. I've never watched the black and white cut.
It's
of that.
good.
So killer.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Because they really, really saturated the black and white. So there's a ton of contrast.
Yeah.
It's really good. We
I'm
watched
still-
that at my apartment complex.
Yes, we did. I'm still waiting for those sequels to come out.
Furiosa got delayed from the strike, but that's supposed to be coming out soon.
Prequel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Anna Taylor-Joy. as
No
Furiosa.
kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
interesting.
sorry, who directed those? It's
George Miller of Happy Feet fame.
So George Miller said that he actually has sequels mapped out for each zone that they went through in Mad Max Fury Road.
Dope.
So, like,
give me all those
yeah.
movies.
And like for me, the best zone was like the people on the stilts walking on all fours in like the foggy area. That was my favorite part. But I want all that shit
For sure.
because I do love a good car story.
All right, right on.
That wasn't a joke. I just love
Yeah.
car stuff.
You'll be pleased with What If Season 2 then.
Oh, the donkey, the
There's like
Mario
a
Kart
Mario
episode.
Yeah. I think that looks sick as hell.
Yeah, have you seen the trailer for that
No,
yet? Okay, maybe we'll do a Patreon where we react to that. But one of the scenes in the new season of What If is them just doing a Mario Kart version of all the Marvel characters.
Oh, that's funny.
And
It looks awesome.
yeah, I'm super pumped for that. Very, very pumped.
Should we move into comic books?
Yeah, just a couple announcements. We are tentatively going to be at C2E2 2024 this year in April.
Okay.
More to follow with that.
Okay.
I mentioned the Patreon earlier. If you want to check us out on Patreon, we have weekly episodes and videos over there. Patreon.com/firstissueclub. While I'm at it, social medias, you have them, we got them. Anywhere that you have a social media platform, we're on there as well. So go give us a follow. And also, we have a website, firstissueclub.com. Now we can get into first issues.
How about it?
You guys are looking at me, so I guess I'll go first.
I think you're up
Yeah.
to bat.
Because
got
my stack is the biggest.
You got the thick stack.
So this is a book that I think I've talked about before on the show, but a new series of Alien started. Declan Shalvey is still writing. This is a direct sequel to his both the last volume of Alien and the annual that he did. It's classic Alien stuff. They land on a planet where there's a derelict ship, and surprise, surprise, there's some aliens.
There be aliens.
Right.
It is cool though because they're expanding the mythos a little bit. They're diving into some of the extended Alien universe stuff where there are
Where they have wings.
They are alternate species of aliens.
Fuck yeah,
So
that's what I want.
the aliens landed on this planet and infected the local fauna, and now there are like these ice aliens.
What's the shiny rate on the aliens?
It's still, unfortunately, 1 in 4,800, whatever. But it's fun stuff. I mean, I don't know that I would say everybody needs to go out and buy this book, but if you're an Alien fan, it's kind of a no-brainer.
I'm desperately hoping Marvel does a collected hardcover of all their Alien stuff.
They've already have. They've done.
They have.
They've collected the Dark Horse stuff
okay.
already.
I mean, like the new stuff with Declan.
Oh, like a big omnibus?
Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
I think that would read just amazingly well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because the first couple volumes with the Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff was kind of 1 or 2 big stories kind of put together, and then it seems like Declan Shalvey's kind of doing the same thing with his 3 volumes or 2 volumes or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure that they will do that at some point.
Nice.
But Alien continues to be a really fun read for Alien horror fans.
The Deviant.
Yeah, we can talk about the Deviant. I know Greg read this. You didn't read this,
No,
Mike? This is James Tunyon and Josh Hickson out on Image. It's a Christmas horror story about a killer Santa Claus and a guy coming to terms with his sexuality. So it checks all of the James Tunyon boxes.
It unnerved me to a satisfying degree reading this book. It is set in 2 time frames, in the 70s and in today. The lead character who's like investigating this deviant is a comic book writer, an illustrator who's like trying to gain information about these killings and the serial killer to like write a comic book about it. And there's a moment in this book where the supposed serial killer is just like, oh, so you write like superhero comics? And he's like, no, I don't do that anymore. Yeah. And I was like, James Tunyon must have been waiting a long time just to write that line of just like, no, I don't do those anymore.
Stop asking me about Batman.
Yeah, I don't do Batman stuff anymore. But it's a very poignant story that like, you think it's going to be just like all blood and guts and like killing, but like there's this like middle section where like this main character is kind of going through his like budding sexuality and like finding out through this serial killer that gay people existed as a kid.
Yeah.
And like that's the first time he found out that like a boy could like a boy, but it was like tarnished by the person was a serial killer. So he has like a really conflicted identity and like a sexual identity, because he's just like, well, if I'm gay, does that mean like I'm also
a serial killer?
There's something wrong with me, like I'm a killer.
Yeah.
And he's like talking to this supposed serial killer, and like serial killer's just like, man, you're really kind of soft. But like I like that because like now men can be soft in the world. He's like, I've been in here for 50 years. Like it's nice that males can be soft now instead of just having to like deny everything.
Yeah, masculinity is not so rigid anymore.
Right, and it's like such an odd book in the most fantastic way possible, and it's like very atmospheric, and like there's the moments when they're in the prison talking to one another feel claustrophobic when they're talking, which is brilliant, and how they illustrated that. But the best Christmas story I've read in a while, The Deviant.
Yeah, I mean, again, it checks all the James Tunyon boxes. If any of this strikes your interest, for sure pick it up. I think that this is what unnerved me about it the most is that the present day stuff is set 1 month from now. And that, like, for some reason, that really creeped me out.
Sure.
That it's like,
what do you know, James?
it's November and it's set in December of 2023. So I don't know. This book's gonna be awesome. I'm assuming that this is gonna be a limited.
It is a limited, yeah.
For sure. Issue 1 is a big thick boy. It's $6.
But you get your money's worth.
You do get your money's
A
worth.
brilliant cover.
Yeah.
A nominee for my cover of the year.
Yeah, this A cover for those of you watching the video.
Yeah, which we need to start thinking about that, boys. Best of the year.
Yeah,
For January. It's coming quick.
for sure. We'll come up with some stuff. So, yeah. great book. James doesn't miss.
No, I've yet to read a book where he's just full on missed.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of something where I was like,
I mean, something that's killing the children's okay.
It's fine. We'll see what kind of cultural impact it has.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time coming up with anything of his that I'm like, I was anything but like gaga over it.
Yeah, because he doesn't miss.
I thought The Closet was awesome.
Closet ripped.
I loved Wind.
What was the one he just did with about the kid with superpowers and like the pigeon? Like the pedestrian life of
Christopher Chaos.
Christopher
Yes.
Chaos. He's like plotting that though. He's not actually like writing it page to page.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, still good. It's got legs, but
Yeah.
Next book I read was Ministry of Compliance. This is another big old thick boy at $6, but this is John Ridley. It's out on IDW, and much like Boom last year, I think I might put IDW at my publisher of the year.
A lot of my favorite first issues this year have been IDW. It's
didn't
weird.
They declare bankruptcy?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You might be thinking of Aftershock.
Aftershock definitely did.
Yeah.
I thought IDW was in trouble.
But
IDW's
They sold off a bunch of their licensing stuff.
well, they made it all back with
Beneath the Trees?
Beneath the Trees.
Yeah.
So
Oh, buddy.
anyway, Ministry of Compliance. It's John Ridley. So if you know anything about John Ridley, it's straight up insane sci-fi. I'll call this an alien invasion samurai sci-fi thriller, right?
It's an interesting sandwich.
Yeah. So the elevator pitch kind of is that there's these aliens on Earth, part of like a galactic empire, but nobody on Earth knows that they exist. And they are the ones that have been sowing the like political economic discord, and they have all these different ministers that are in charge of finance and entertainment and blah 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 blah, right? Whatever. Our hero is the Minister of Compliance, and she's responsible for making sure these other ministers stay in line. So, you're the Minister of Finance, and you've lost track of the mission of taking over Earth, and you started embezzling money. She cuts your head off.
Oh,
And
whoa,
that's
okay.
like how the book opens, right?
It seems like a more complicated Highlander.
It kind of is. That's actually a pretty good whatever, except there can be more than one.
Right. There can be more than one.
There can be more than one. So, I mean, it's a wild book. There's a ton of plot in this first issue. I mean, it's huge.
I love her character design. I mean, she's wearing like a pantsuit,
Yeah.
but it's also like she's got a cool trench coat and badass like heels.
And her sword compacts into like an 8-inch thing. But it's
it?
like a
Yeah.
full-size samurai sword
Oh,
when
sick.
she pulls it out. So, if you're in the mood for like a Star Trek sci-fi world building process, this is great because it's not too like hard sci-fi, but it's also not. It's got enough of that stuff that it's not just like a political thriller.
Yeah.
So super fun. Again, you get your money's worth for $6.
Right on. That sounds great.
And last one I read was Star Wars Visions Peach Momoko. I was gaga over the Star Wars Visions TV show and the first issue they did with that Ronin character. So I was so jazzed that they were bringing back this as a comic series.
That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
No words.
No words. Yeah. Well, it goes without saying that Peach Momoko's art is Peach Momoko. Everybody
Yeah.
knows what it looks like now.
Almost iconic at this point.
Yeah.
Like you can just like identify it from across the room.
It's totally gorgeous. As Greg said, it's wordless. There are literally 0 words in this book. They give you at the beginning a little like 2-sentence setup for the story,
Yeah.
and then like a little 1-sentence blurb for each of the 4 main characters, and then
Off to the races.
let it rip. If you're looking for the visual comic of the year, I mean, kind of by definition, this is like the one, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like this and Step by Bloody Step. Oh, that was last year.
That was last year, yeah. But yes, same kind of thing, right? If you can tell a story through visuals alone, you are, by definition, a successful comic book writer,
Sure,
right? So,
yeah.
like, mission accomplished. I guess there's not really much else to say, but this is worth picking up for the art alone. And they're also doing a sequel. The next issue, Visions, is they're doing another sequel of that Ronin thing. So
Oh, cool.
I'm absolutely jazzed that Visions is coming back hard.
And I think you can be safe to say you can just be a Peach Momoko fan and enjoy it just the same as any other comic without being like steeped in Star Wars stuff. These are all kind of like net new.
Yes, yeah, good point.
I don't know if a lot.
I just read the whole thing in front of you, and I totally got it.
I don't know if everyone's familiar exactly with what Visions is, but it's kind of like giving.
It's a Netflix TV show with different interpretations in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
It is the thing where different individual creators or teams are just kind of let loose.
Yeah.
With
Do something cool. Don't worry about the canon.
vague Star Wars stuff. You can use a lightsaber and droids go nuts.
Yeah.
But if you mention Luke Skywalker, we're going to have an issue.
Well, that's exactly the point, is that it's none of that stuff is involved. It's absolutely incredible. It's the best version of Star Wars.
Right on.
It is very, very, very good. I akin it to like Love, Death, and Rockets.
Yeah.
Like it's just like micro stories told within a mega universe that have an I would say like a manga anime influence.
Yeah, a lot of them certainly do.
And it's just a good time.
Yeah, good stuff. So pick up Visions because I want to keep having more of it. And that's all I read.
Yep. I read the Deviant and crushed or crammed for the Ed Brubaker interview.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm a nervous Nelly when it comes to interviews, so I usually just hyperfixate on them and then get super nervous.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I guess we both read Where the Body Was.
Where the Body Was. It's Ed Brubaker's new and Sean Phillips' new crime series that's coming out. It'll be available December, I want to say 16th, or it's mid-December.
Yeah.
You can get the issue
So,
in your
yeah.
local comic book shop.
Final order cutoff is already done then.
It's done. Yeah,
But
it's
yeah.
passed.
But it's a one shot, $25. You get the whole
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
another
It's like
a trade.
hardcover.
it's a hardcover. Okay.
yeah.
But
it's
without
phenomenal.
spoiling anything, it's great. It was super phenomenal. So
It's a tapestry of bad decisions. I'll say that.
yeah.
Woven into like the filthiest quilt you ever wrap yourself in.
But in classic Brubaker fashion, it hits that sweet spot of like it's bittersweet and it makes you nostalgic for like a place that that never existed. You've never been there, but
But you remember it like you have been.
you remember it like you have been there. Yeah, exactly.
He is figured out a way to tap into everyone's consciousness or unconsciousness of like nostalgia, and like I think everyone thinks they grew up in like whatever Andy Griffith's show place that was. Like everyone thinks that they went fishing with a pole and string and like walked to school with no shoes on and like no one bothered them, but like I don't know. It's an incredible book, and somehow Ed Brubaker still finds ways to redefine his own genre,
Yeah.
which is kind of incredible. He teased some stuff that he can't talk about of him trying to explore new genres outside of crime and the new war thing. He would not, for the life of him, give up what he was doing. But it's pretty exciting to think about him doing other genres besides.
So expect the new wartime horror story from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Coming.
Frankenstein does heroin
Yeah.
and robs a bank.
That's right. What'd you read, Mike?
I read a few things, and I'm kind of again catch up corner.
Yeah.
I've got two books that were like kind of similar conceptually, or had like a similar like crux in the plot. But I read Zawa by Michael Dialynas, who does the art for Something is Killing the Children. And so cool to see him doing double duty. I don't know if I've ever read a book of his specifically.
Where he does both?
Yeah.
I haven't either.
Or how often he does this, if maybe this is his first
Is that a
book that he's
Boombox
written.
book?
It is Boombox,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So that's
It skews towards YA.
yeah, because that was like Lumberjanes, right? It's
Lumberjanes
the big-
was on there. So this is kind of like future. Things are bad, as most future things go. Food is scarce and hard to come by. This group of kids breaks into a plant where, like, society at large, the government is like making prepackaged food things that you exchange coin for, and then they kind of decide what you're eating. And they find a lot of art in cooking and want to do something different. And then there is this creature or person that's locked up in the depths of this factory and gets released.
Is that the Zawa that they refer
I'm
to?
assuming this is Zawa.
Okay.
Is that creature / character. And there's a little bit of background in there where this character has like lived in this place for a very long time, and one of the characters' parents used to like feed him and help him out, and he notices like some similarities in like their cooking during their encounter, even though they're all afraid of him. So he's probably going to seek them out, and then we'll find out that maybe, I don't know if Zawa has some powers or there's a reason he's like locked in a trash compactor looking thing. But
The real power is friendship, I think, is what we'll learn.
He has the perfect
exactly right.
palate.
in any case, cool comic, probably skews a little more towards YA stuff. But if I read YA stuff all the time, I really like it.
Yeah,
Totally.
and he's fine.
I like YA stuff sometimes because it's
Straight to the point.
yeah. Well, and it's like I don't need all of the stuff every time.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Well, and it's also
palate cleanser.
Yeah, it is palate cleansing sometimes. It's nice to go into a thing and know that just like I'm not in the headspace for like rape and murder, and like I don't have to worry about that happening like a third way through the thing I'm
Sometimes
reading.
it's fun to be able to identify the villain immediately in a
Yeah.
book.
They're wearing a black coat.
Like, that's the fucking bad guy.
Not
Yes.
any more sinister than it appears to be.
He's eating cockroaches.
Okay, and then Distillery's second ever release, Gone, is another book that is written and illustrated by a singular person, and that is Jock. Jock fans on the podcast?
Yeah.
All right.
I liked
Obviously.
his jams. Thank you. That's
okay.
an old person joke, by the way.
Kind of similar to Zawa in that not only one, writer artist double duty.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you've got some young people who
Doing
are
young people things.
trying to get onto this big like carrier ship to get food. The carrier ship is like a big thing for the government. A lot of people move back and forth in space,
Wait a minute.
and they run the ins and outs of delivering food, and this is one of their only ways to get food is to sneak onto the ship, sneak off before it departs. They get our lead character is a little girl who gets stuck on the ship. Things go haywire when a part of her crew that's come with her that she hasn't never met before, ran one of these with, turn out to be terrorists. And so
I'm shocked.
they like bomb the ship, and she's just like, I was just here for food. The thing takes off. Some people die. She ejects some of her people in like an escape pod thing, but she has to stay behind.
Oh, okay.
And she's just like stuck on this ship for like months.
And
With
now
all that food. And now she's gone.
Thank you. Now
She's gone. At least from home, she's gone.
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah.
I really liked it.
we didn't get to that part.
Yeah, I want the Mike D stamp of approval. Got to have it.
I think all the distillery stuff is probably going to be
Good.
really good. It's all like
Capital G.
prestige format, a little longer, so you can really soak it in. It was a beautiful book.
I was pleased that it was not $10.
Yeah,
What, six?
I think
$5
it
or
was
$6?
$6.99.
Totally, I can handle that.
Good deal for something that big.
They finally listened to us.
With pretty spot cloth.
They must listen to the podcast.
All right, and then another large format book, Subgenre. Did anyone read this?
No.
Subgenre is a Matt Kent book out on Dark Horse with Wilfredo Torres and Bill Crabtree. Really cool. I felt like this is a Matt Kent sort of book that we've been waiting for a minute.
Is this Flux House?
I don't know, but it
It is, yes.
Yeah, it's his deal, right?
It's like his little publisher.
yeah.
So you said it's a Matt Kent book that we haven't, or we've been wanting for some time.
Yes.
In what way?
It takes a lot of his books that he's written and kind of the theory in Bang that there's some like someone is orchestrating these stories that other people are kind of living in, and puts a character at the crux of that who's this detective who hops from like one world to another but doesn't know he's part of a story. Like
So-
almost finds out in a scene and then gets like kicked out of that adventure and into another one.
So is it like Animal Man, where he's going to end up meeting Matt Kent?
Maybe.
Oh, hell yeah.
Is he going to jump into the world of depth?
We know that in this comic that Bang, Revolver, Mind Management, Department H exists.
Hell
All right,
yes.
there we go.
Yeah.
So it's the
Grass Kings. Like there's even some like Lemire books that were like in there.
So it's the Matt Kent big game.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope.
So it was a really fun read.
Cool. Do you have to be familiar with those other tomes to understand this book?
I think I'll say no,
Okay.
but if I could recommend you read one book before getting into this one, it would probably be Bang.
The Bible? Oh, Bang.
It would be the good book. Okay. Bang.
Bang would
Got
be
it.
the one to read.
Bang, bang.
Bang bang on the door, baby.
Love us a
Sick.
good B-52s reference that round out the episode.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for another week, everybody. We'll catch you after
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, enjoy the Ed Brubaker interview next week.
Ta ta.
Bye.